Hello fans, good morning, good morning. Whenever you see this heart, we have those caps for information sharing, not abusive to be precise, not busybodies, not telltale caps, but when you see the heart, you are expecting some special information from us. And so this morning I just want to tell you guys of how you can spot some scammings or scammers association or organizations that are ready to rip you to your bone, to your marrow of your hard-earned naira, pounds, dollars, because you need certificate of sponsorship to work, maybe in the United Kingdom, or they come around to tell you stories of certificate of sponsorships to work with in New Zealand as healthcare assistant or health support worker in New Zealand, in Australia, and in some other places. Now, this has been going on for a long while, and I felt maybe I wouldn't need to speak about it, but then it's really coming too close home, because I've seen a situation where someone who is very, very close and very dear to me was scammed at least 45,000 naira. Of course, they would have possibly done some more havoc if not that I was a bit persistent with this person. And even at being persistent, they still managed to squeeze out 45,000 naira from them, telling them to pay some of those money. So now one thing I've known about these guys is that, one, they are using the name of assisting and very, very good organizations to scam people. So you actually see that the organization they say they belong to are actually in existence. But then if you dig deeper, or if you have a very close look, or if you open your two ears to listen very well to the voices of advice from people who love you, you may not fall into that very cheap scam. Now, what happened to my big sister then was that they told her that they told her they got her credentials from a particular online job search page, and they sent her email and they told her to do some interviews, some written interviews. That was all they told her. And the interview was such a very disgusting interview that someone who has passed through the four walls of the primary schools in Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Ghana, Uganda, Gambia, Congo, Brazzaville, Egypt, Niger, just name any of those African countries or anywhere you are coming from around the world, you will find very ridiculous. Because this interview, they just say, oh, you were coming from a place somewhere, and someone you saw that you should discuss an incident, that when you saw someone that was hit with a car, what you did at that stage. Well, of course, I know there could be scenario questions, there could be critical thinking questions, but that's kind of absurd, because as a care worker, you're not going on the roadside to practice your care assistance or care assisting or support work jobs. You will be carrying that out with some residents in a residential home or in a nursing care home and all that. But these guys will tell you that you are on a high speed. In fact, you are on a railway, or you are on the stream. You are sailing the ship and two ships collided. And what will you do in that instance? Is that what someone who is a healthcare assistant do? That's not part of your job. So they just frame some questions for them. And I ask, okay, when did you do interview? Yeah, lo and behold, they actually had no virtual interview done at all. So they didn't open anything for them to do interview, maybe on Skype, maybe on Zoom, on Team, on Meet, or just name any social media. Nothing. So that was the interview they did. If you have been in the hands of such people, careful, 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 careful. Your money is about going down the drain. Now they've stepped up now, not just collecting 45,000 naira. They are now collecting close to £100. So they are giving you this money in foreign currency so that you will actually think that everything is it's not everything that is like that. No, not at all. So that's one thing. When someone who wants to give you a job does not interview you virtually, like you can see yourself this way face to face, then know you are almost into a very hot soup. It's left to you to dive deep into the soup, the very hot ogbono soup, or very hot kankashi soup, or very hot egusi soup, or squeezy hot tomato sauce, like the one Yorubas used to cook when we want to put omiobe for your egusi during our party, or for your eforiro during parties, after parties in Nigeria. It's like you are going down deep into such very hot soup with your eyes opened. And if we keep warning you, because I've seen that my people have been warning their people and people are not yielding. Of course the pressure is high. We know that the pressure is high, and we actually know that the poor are not being allowed to breathe. But then it still doesn't make so much sense that you are being suffocated, but someone now actually being suffocated, you are still struggling to breathe, you are doing all that. But someone who could now come and carry their cutlass and axe and everything, and they are asking you to bring maybe your nose for them to cut, and you just present it to them to cut. Doesn't, like, to me, make so much big sense. So note that if you haven't done an interview for that job they want to give you, and they are promising you certificate of sponsorship, then you are on a very long and wrong pathway. 2 is you being booked for biometrics or visa appearance without your knowing. You haven't received a letter of offer, you haven't or maybe you received an offer, but you haven't got certificate of sponsorship that have some particular characteristics. And then they said your biometrics has been booked for a particular day, and you are down southwest. Let's say you are in Lagos, but your biometrics are been booked for you in Abuja. Then if you are someone who do open boxes to reason, like some of us do, then you will know that's a very, very big and unpleasant scam. So you have to take a trip from Lagos to Abuja to get a biometrics done. When the offices are there in Lagos, they have 2 offices in Lagos, one at VI and one at Ikeja, and you have to leave Ibadan, leave Ogun State, leave Osun State, leave Oyo State, and you have to travel down to Abuja to take that biometrics. Then please, let's utilize what I'm covering down here with this big heart. Please, let's call ourselves to voices of reasoning. That's another thing. And you got out your offer letter, and it is so colored. It's coming in color purple, coming in color black, coming in color just name it, pink, coming in orange colors. They are not coming in paper white or brown paper colors, but they are so colored that you need the service of an optometrist, of an ophthalmologist, to get you very big and thick glasses, correcting short-sightedness, long-sightedness, and astigmatism, correcting everything together at the same time before you can actually read what is in the letter. Then if that is happening to you and you say you are getting a job, you are on a very long walk. It doesn't matter to me whether you paid to them in 1,000 naira or paying in Ghana cedis or paying in any currency to them, because now they've activated the channel for you to be paying pounds. So if you are doing that, then you are on a long walk to being scammed of your hard-earned money, or maybe a very short walk to being scammed. And we've been shouting, guys, we keep shouting on you guys' head that those things you guys are going into are errors, but you guys are still carrying your heads like coconut headed guys. Like all of us, you know, we have the coconut heads. You are still going on. Oh man, why are you doing this to yourself? Now that's another thing. So you've got a job where they ask you to write some ridiculous information for them to serve as what you will do in such situations. You don't have a face-to-face interaction like this called virtual interview. No, you are wrong. And two, you've been planned biometrics in a place that is very far to you, that you have never even stepped in your life, or that doesn't make sense. That an office is here doing the same thing. In Port Harcourt, they now plan your biometrics in Lagos. In Port Harcourt, they plan your biometrics to Abuja, or you are in Osun State or in Ogun State, and they plan your biometrics for you in Abuja, not Lagos. And they did not give you certificates of sponsorship. Before anyone plans you for biometrics, they should actually send you certificates of sponsorship. If you don't have that one and you go long into it, then you are wrong. And you get that offer letter before your biometrics, and it is also colored. See the colors over there. And you can actually read what is there. So how are you sure you are struggling and begging so many people to help you to read? Then that's a scam. Okay? And you've been asked to pay. That's a scam. So, but if you are not listening to us, we are not going to force you. We are not going to force you to listen. It's all left to you. Pay the money, come back and tell us what happens thereafter. But please, and please, and please, don't ask Yaolu beside your house to lend you or borrow you money, because that money you want to spend, you just want to spend it like being someone who's not quite serious, not serious. Okay? So, careful guys out there. God will help you. God will make ways for you. And you can actually still ask your people who are here to check up the organization for you. We can call the organization for you, because we know if you are sending mails to them, the mail will be ending in their hands if they are using the email you have with them. And another thing I noticed with the offer letter I was given was that offer letter did not carry a bona fide signature. Like you don't have, they will now put HR. They will write the letter, yours faithfully, HR. Who does that? Who does that in a very sensible HR without name? HR without name. Nobody does that. No organization that is sensible, that is reasonable, that is of very good standard will do that. Careful guys out there. Careful out there. When next we see some other things you should be worried about for people who are ready to scam you, we carry them to you, bring them for you. I'll tell you this story. There's this very lovely sister of mine. She consulted me with something like this. I'm sure it's something around March, April. And I looked at the job offer and I said, oh no, this doesn't look like something real. But my sister kept defending those guys' family. And unfortunately, I couldn't get her convinced, because she too had someone here who they were sort of closer, like closely knitted than myself. And she consulted them and they felt, oh, that looked real. But I felt, oh yeah, I know sister could have been here before I came, but I'm sort of like in things like migration that I should know some things that smell fishy, because you are down there in Oyo State and they are booking biometrics for you in Abuja. It doesn't make sense to me. And you haven't had a certificate of sponsorship, and you've been booked the biometrics for 23rd of May, or was it 27th of May? Doesn't make sense to me. But because we couldn't breathe, she actually wanted to leave quickly for a place she could breathe. She kept believing them. They asked them to pay some 45,000 naira, and they made the payment. And it dragged closer, and we kept dragging it. Occasionally I would go off and I would come back to check, sister, how far? Then it came to like Few days to biometrics, she hasn't got a COS. Because I told her, if you don't have COS, if you don't fill your form, let's assume they will fill the form for you. You should have the copy to go to your biometrics place with. If you don't have all those things, the security guys will not even allow you into your biometric center. And that's a whole lot of waste of money and time and energy and risk of life, you living in Ibadan to Abuja, and you will not be allowed into. Even if they allowed you into, you have no information in the database of UKVI. Have you done UKVI? She hasn't done UKVI academic, IELTS, whether general, whatsoever. She hasn't got any letter from her school that she studied in English. She hasn't done the ECTS or NARIC. But she was going into it. But then I kept on. Occasionally I will move back. I will drag closer to her. Then came this beautiful day. She called me and was like, sister, this is what happened. She expected a certificate of sponsorship. She couldn't find it. She couldn't get it from them. Then she started calling them. They were not responding. And she now has the other big sister to call to check up with her. And lo and behold, she called the office. And those guys told them practically, and that was as far back as April, May, that more than 2,000 Nigerians have called them with regards to this, that a particular company is using their name to scam people, and it's happening in Nigeria. I'm not saying these scammers are Nigerians, because anyone could come from anywhere and see that things are porous somewhere and decide to scam. And they could use anybody's name, they could create accounts, they could do anything. We may not know, these guys might not actually be Nigerians. So we just have to be very, very careful there. And that organization told her that, oh, we are not recruiting from Nigeria. And I'm not dropping any name. I'm not dropping any job offer. But today I've seen like 2, 3 or more people with that particular company. That particular company's name, and the real company is not recruiting from Nigeria, and you are now being asked to pay something close to £100. Careful guys, careful out there. You take life easy, do all your care assistance training. If that's what you want to come over to do all the trainings, and when you're done with the trainings, then make effort to start applying. And you can ask your people who are already here, who got the job already, to connect you with their employers. That way you will be safe. All right, thank you guys, see you later. Hope you keep yourself safe from the hands of this scammer. I'm sending all this to you raw and bold like that. Thank you guys, have a very good day.